Hi everyone, and welcome to the Handmade Comfort Gifts podcast, I guess. It's my first episode. My name is Robin. I am the creator, owner, crafter of Handmade Comfort Gifts, and I thought I would jump on this knitting crochet podcast. I have been watching a ton. I follow the crochet knitting podcast, the Knitting Traditions podcast, and a couple others that I can't think of right now. But I kept looking everywhere on YouTube, and I couldn't find really any that I liked. But I'm a knitter and crocheter, not the best knitter, but I'm getting there. I started a few garments. As you can see, this one is my little tulip by Melanie Hoffman of Bee Mandarins. This is for my daughter. My gauge was way off, so it's huge. So she'll grow into it. But I'm gonna set that down. I have another one. It's her other tulip for myself, so we could match. It was something cute I wanted to do, and that's going well. I've made a couple mistakes already, so I'll hopefully be able to show that on my next podcast. Yeah, I just wanted to introduce myself and kind of get out there and share my experience of growing as a knitter and growing my business, and just getting to share all the things that I make. So a little background about me. I learned how to knit when I was about, I think I was about 10. A family friend taught me. She had a ton of, she was working on this project. It was like a tablecloth that she was working on, and I don't know what they're called, but they're like the two bars and like these plastic things that hold the bars together, and you like crochet knots basically. I don't know what it's called. I used to be able to do it, and then I just completely forgot how to do it. But she was doing that, and I was interested in what she was doing because my eldest sister, I have two, so if you ever hear me mention my sisters, I mentioned my oldest as my eldest, and then my middle sister as my oldest. That could get confusing. Yeah, so I was watching her do that, and my eldest sister tried teaching me how to crochet when I was about 7, I think. I couldn't do it. I was just making knots and undoing my knots. It was just intense. And so I saw her doing that, and I was interested in it, and she was like, how about I teach you how to knit? And I was like, okay, sure, that sounds fun. And she gives me just straight needles. They're super long. They're probably too long for how little I was, because I'm not a large person. I'm small. Yeah, so I was working on those. I had dropped so many stitches, and it was tremendous. But it was a square that I never finished. I think I ended up a couple years later, 3 years later, I ended up just ripping it out and using the yarn for something else, or I just got rid of it. But eventually I got tired of knitting, and I hopped on to crochet again, but self-taught at this point, because my sister, she had moved. She was older, so she moved out, and I was curious. I knew how to chain. I had figured that out on my own, and then I hopped on YouTube to figure out how to make a blanket. I ended up learning how to double crochet before I learned how to do any other crochet stitch. So that was very interesting. In my first blanket, I should go get it because it is also ugly. Let me go grab it. Okay, I got it. So this is my first one. It's terrible. Like, the sides are so uneven, and I had to use 2 different yarns for the green. So one's like, I guess what they would call, it was something else, but now I'm pretty sure it's like super soft or some, I don't know what brand it is now, but it changed. So like here, let me just, it's terrible. Let's see. So this is the top that I finished. It looks decent. And then at the bottom, oh, here's the edging. It's like, I just carried the colors up, so it's got this like amazingly gorgeous border. But then you go down and it just gets like smaller and smaller until you get to like right here. You can see it. It's like awful. But this is what I'm talking about. This green is like softer and it's shinier than the green I finished. This is like, I think this is like red heart green, but the blue stayed the same. And what's funny is that it took me like 3 years to work on, because I started it in like 2011 and I didn't finish it till probably like 2013, I think. But yeah, and the funniest thing is that my grandfather on my mom's side is colorblind, and he was like, are there 2 different greens in there? And I was like, man, if you noticed, then everybody noticed. So I was like, great, that's just great. But yeah, this is my first ever blanket project. No one uses it. I think one person used it, but I don't want to talk about that. And then coming up right after that, you just saw it, but right after that I did another blanket. This one I had started in 2017 and I finished it in 2017, so that was a big jump. I've had a couple projects in between there because I learned how to, between crochet and knitting, I started loom knitting, so I made like a ton of hats that weren't great, that I don't have anymore because I'm pretty sure they all went in the garbage, or they just, I don't know. There's a picture of my niece. I might insert it in here. When my first niece, because I have 2, when she was a newborn, and she was wearing one of the hats I made her. It was just huge. She looks like a, what's the word? I don't know. Like a wannabe hip hop star. And my middle sister, she got her like her little baby hands to hold up like a peace sign. It's it's the cutest little picture. Hopefully I can get it inserted in here. If not, that's depressing and I suck. But I'm not good at video editing. But here's my second one. It is a little bit better, but there's some holes. Like, I want to see. Where'd it go? I just saw it. There's holes in this where I like crocheting. If you, I guess if you pull too hard on one of the like the stitch you just did, you get like this double V. And I would skip over it, and I think I would just initially like just skip over a whole stitch when I would do that. So yeah, there's a few skip stitches in here, in this one, but this one I think I kept the sides a little bit better, but like not really. None of them have borders. Yeah, so excuse me, sorry. I think it was because my tension changed or something, but it's a little better. Like, it stayed pretty steady up the sides, and I think that beginning and ends are just different. Like, that's a little wobbly because I think I changed the number of chains I did for each side. But this one, I think I made it with Bernat Baby yarn, so it's a lot softer, and obviously no color changes, which is amazing. I was into stripes. I guess stripes were easy for me to think about then. But this one I'm most proud of. It's actually really soft. I washed it. It's been washed like a couple times. That's why it's so fluffy. It's super fluffy. But no one uses it in this house. It sits over there on my rocking chair as like that rocking chair is really hard. It's just an all wood rocking chair, so I put it on the back to make it like a little cozier. Yeah, but that was my second ever crochet project. And then I can't remember when I learned how to make a granny square, but everyone that I have heard of or like listened to on other podcasts, they learned how to crochet like a granny square first. Who was I watching just recently? I think Well Love Knits. She made a scarf. She made a scarf out of granny squares, and that was like the first thing she really ever crocheted. And I'm like, I never learned how to granny square until after I made like a blanket. And then that's when I started doing granny squares. I learned how to do that on YouTube also. Who did I learn that from? I remember who I learned it from. I learned it from Melanie K. Ham, who unfortunately lost her battle with cancer, but she was my main teacher at that point. Like, I watched all her videos, and everything she did explained it really well, and I'm really sad for her family, and I hope that, I'm not going to say they get through it, but because that sounds insensitive. I don't want to be insensitive, but I hope that they know that she was an amazing teacher. She was incredible. She taught so many people so many things. Like, she also sewed. She taught me some things on how to sew. Like, I watched all of her quilting. I really watched almost all of her videos on YouTube since like her first couple, when I was learning a bunch of new stuff. So she taught me how to make a granny square and how to sew. I made my niece a crayon tote bag that she has on her YouTube, and that was really cute. I loved that bag. That bag was such a fun make. It's so little and quick that I just want to make a bunch, and I took what I learned from there and made like grocery bags. You can see the pile of unfinished grocery bags behind me. Like, I got a lot of projects I haven't finished because I had my daughter in November, so she's only 2 months old now. And I don't know how I did it. I was like 9 months pregnant, sitting in that chair over there, just doing a bunch of crochet for my Etsy shop. Uncomfortable. And then I sewed too, so I was like standing and cutting, and I was like exhausted all the time, but I was like, I'm finishing these projects before this baby comes. And unfortunately, I started these ones a little too late, because I think I started them end of October, and like kind of procrastinated after I started them. Or no, that's wrong. I started them beginning of November, because she came like the second week of November on the 13th. And yeah, I had them all cut and stuff, and I went into labor Friday. That Friday night? Well, technically Thursday, but Friday night is when it got me the most, and then we went in Saturday morning, and I had my baby by Saturday night. So I'm also a new mom, and that's crazy. I don't know how some people have babies and just like go right back to work, because she's kicking my butt. Like, she's great. I love her so much. She's so freaking cute. You might get to meet her on this podcast one day, because she's so hit or miss. Oh my God, you can hear my dog barking, I'm pretty sure. She's hit or miss on when she wants to sleep, and I thankfully got her back to sleep this morning, and I've just been in here working on a project for my cousin who will help sponsor my Etsy shop to kind of boost my products and stuff. It's gonna be really cute. I'll hopefully get that listed unrealistically by the end of the month, but probably mid-February. I do go back to work soon. I work part-time as a dental register. So, and then between me and my husband, we're the babysitters of our daughter when I go back to work. So he gets the morning, I get the afternoon, because he works nights. That's too much information, I feel. But yeah, I don't know how long this has been. Just working on a couple projects. Hers is currently sitting on my desk right now. And then my selfish knit is in the living room. I'm almost done with a sleeve. So that's almost done. I just need to I need to finish the one sleeve and then the next sleeve. And then I gotta wash and block it. But it's done, even with all my mistakes. It doesn't look too bad. I'll probably show it on the next one, like I said earlier. Yeah, I just wanted to introduce myself and hopefully be able to put out, most podcasters do like a month, but I hate waiting, so I might do a little bit more frequently. It might be a little spastic on when I post videos, but I try my best. It'll be great. I'll do it. It'll be nice. All right. So that's it from me, and I'll hopefully catch some of you guys in the next one. All right. Bye.